drawn. Point here by full play matchup between Bad Skid from Heilbronn, Germany against Gentle from Belgium. Chris, you excited for this matchup coming up?
I'm very excited. These are definitely two of the top 3 or 4 teams of this tournament. We should see very high level ultimate, and we're seeing a lot at stake. Bad Skid is currently near the bubble, ranked 14th. As we know, only the top 16 teams will get to EUCF. So this is very important for them, and I'd expect them to come out hard on their home turf.
Gentle, I think, do you know what their current ranking is?
Gentle, I believe, is ranked 6th. They feel pretty confident about where they're at. They're rotating some of their players in and out for certain games. That's their national team players. So they're preparing for Australia in a couple weeks. So they're trying to rest their legs a little bit. I would say the Bad Skid don't really have that luxury, even though they also have players on the German national team.
I was told that Nico Müller was here for this game this morning, but had to go to a wedding, so will not be playing this game. He'll be back tomorrow, as Bad Skid will try to push their way into that wild card position, but they will be playing without maybe their best player here in this game.
The only thing more important than the UCF rankings is, of course, love. So we respect his decision to go to the wedding. But that is a big loss. After 2 rounds, Nico Müller was the stat leader of this tournament so far. I would expect that not to hold now that he's at the wedding. It'll be interesting to see how hard he goes to the dance party tonight, see if that affects his play tomorrow.
We'll find out, but right now, we'll see the teams with what they have as Bad Skid gets ready to pull. Gentle here in green, starting on offense against Bad Skid in the striped white and gray. Great pull in the back of the end zone. Arthur van de Vega, who was out last game, fields it to Samir Boumalal. Nice floaty pass. Gentle continue. Boumalal now, back to van de Vega. Bad Skid just sagging off a slight bit on the handlers, but mostly just playing match defense here against Gentle. Prusak, one of the Czech imports, with the disc now on the sideline. Back to Boumalal. Noticing a lot more pressure that Gentle seems to be feeling compared to how they were playing at Siebenschwaben in the last game.
Definitely, Bad Skid doing well to contain them so far, making them throw a lot of passes.
Novak and Krušak, the 2 Czech players matching up there. Bouchon on the sideline. Bouchon with the big hammer over the top. It's going to be an opportunity. No. Well taken in. Oosterlink gets it up to Boumalal. Boumalal just throws it nicely up to Oosterlink, and though there was some Bad Skid pressure, a great offensive hold there for Gentle.
I think both teams can feel happy about that first point. Gentle because they got the hold, Bad Skid because they really made them work for it. You can't see it at home, but it's quite hot today, so making those O-lines work for a really long time could pay off later in the game when the fatigue sets in.
We'll get our first chance to look at the Bad Skid O-line here in this next point.
It's going to be a big test for this O-line to play without Nico Müller. He's currently the rock at the center of the offense, really keeps things calm, and he's, of course, one of the best, if not the best, handlers in Europe. So without them, it's interesting to see who they'll run the offense through, if it'll be a bit more of a flat hierarchy, and who steps up, taking over some of those throwing responsibilities.
We'll see. I also saw the likes of, I believe Steph Doscher was playing on defense, another star player. He doesn't seem to be coming out, if my eyes don't deceive me, on this offensive line. So some of the players that we know as the top runners not here on this line. But we do see the likes of Holger Beutenmüller out there with his brother and Jörg Reinhardt. So they do have some stalwarts there. We'll see how Skid starts things off. Aforementioned Reinhardt gets things started. Gets De Volk. Gentle coming out with a sort of, want to say a 3-3-1. Ofori always marking. They're now trying to trap on that sideline. Ofori putting the mark, but Bad Skid gets it around. Holger Beutenmüller, the big man, getting it on the sideline. Jörg Reinhardt now with it in power position. Decides to calm things down. Gets it up to another Beutenmüller. Now Bad Skid past half field, working through this Gentle zone as Gentle seems to now have moved into more of a match defense. Nice inside shot there to Holger Beutenmüller. Hartmann now. Hartmann and Reinhardt. Gentle has to be happy with this pressure, but now Holger Beutenmüller on the doorstep looking for the first point for Bad Skid. And he finds his brother for the, looked like an easy pass, but just on that sideline, and Sammy couldn't hold on to it. Seems there's a call on the field. You catch what they're talking about?
Yeah, Holger saying he got caught on the arm as he threw it, which is why it faded out of bounds a little bit. I thought it was the right call, but it also seemed like a bit of a late call, so I can see the confusion on the faces of the Gentle players, wondering sort of what happened here. Here we see the replay, slow motion, a little bit off screen.
To me, it didn't look like contact was really affecting that throw, but the call is retracted, and it will be Gentle's disc. Benjamin Vreken now. Start things off for this Gentle D-line as they get their first chance at the disc. Coming out of that hoe stack, slashing across, eventually opening some space. Nice rolling catch by Gentle. Fuse gets it to Zwarts. Back to Vreken. Vreken puts it in the end zone. One shot. Holger's going to be there on the chase, but I think this one's going to go the way of Gentle. Oh, and just enough pressure by Holger Beutenmüller. And that's a rough stuff for Arthur Fuse, but there is a discussion on the field.
I believe back before the Hawk, one throw before, there was a travel call by Michi Beutenmüller. Players discussing what will be the outcome.
I guess they will just let that continue, as it didn't affect the rest of that play, but don't see anybody moving towards. Seems to be another discussion about maybe a foul downfield as well.
Yeah, the body signal is making it look like they're discussing whether or not he had a chance at the disc. A second chance, perhaps?
Don't know if we can get a replay on the catch, because that's now the current discussion. Seems like the disc is going to go back. I'm not sure if that's because of the travel or the contested foul or whatever, but either way, disc is in the hands of Zwarts.
Sometimes the redo is the best thing you can do. See what happens and see what the disc says about the situation.
Simoons and Vreken working together. Nice inside pass there to Van der Moer. Simoons, Vreken. Vreken holding on to it for a little bit of a long time, but finds a scoover over the top. A nice inside shot. Gentle really working on this break side as Fuse now has it. At about their attacking brick mark. Simoons now into space for Vreken. Vreken sees the option in the end zone, goes for it, and that's going to be a break for Gentle as they go up 2-0. Starting strong are the Belgians.
Very exciting start. They are fired up. You can tell that they care a lot about this game. Bad Skid disappointed. They managed to work it down all the way to the goal line. Another long slog to get there, and unfortunately just can't convert right on that last throw.
Yeah, we see some players like Steph Doscher, Marvin Waldvogel, who are traditional stalwarts on the Bad Skid O-line. It looks like they might be having a strategy of just splitting two even lines, by the way I'm looking at how they're managing personnel. We'll see how that plays out for them, but they in this game need to score as many as possible. Might need to bring all their horses onto one side. We'll see how that evolves as the game progresses.
Definitely. With this new ranking system that we have this year, it's so important to finish in the top 16 algorithmically.
Yeah.
So it matters less how you actually finish in this tournament. What matters more is how many points you score against the top quality opponents.
Yeah.
So they really need to keep themselves in this game here. they'll be wanting a nice clean hold so they can get their confidence and fight their way back in. But we're very early. I don't think they're too concerned about it at the moment.
So Gentle throwing out a fresh new D-line as Bad Skid will respond to getting broken. Waldvogel. Over the top hammer. Pritch. Jonathan Schall now with it on the sideline, looking for options. Looks like Gentle's clamping down quite a bit, but eventually find Pritch up the line. Pritch finds Steph Doscher. Always a question, will he throw a flick? Oh, he does! Surprising everyone at home. Schall. Nice put to space there for Schenk. Schall finds Doscher on the open side. Doscher continues. Give-go movement. Not quite in power position, but still gets disc quite upfield. There's that lefty backhand that Steph's known for so well. Waldvogel now. Doscher with a nice inside shot to Waldvogel. This is about where they faltered last time. Can they hold it together? No, they cannot. Gentle get another steal and are now attacking the other way. Arthur van de Vega has crossed over on this line. See him there. Bruce Cotton now with the disc. Artur with it on the sideline. There's Willems in the middle of the field. Van Bogert shoots it for Willems. There's going to be Bad Skid players in the area. Can Willems get in front and body it out? He cannot come down with it. Had all the position, but just couldn't wrap his hands around that disc. Bad Skid now. At this point, holding on for dear life. Can they notch a score on the board? They need to get themselves in this game. Schall shoots it to Waldvogel, but that one just a little bit too far to the left. And Gentle with another chance. Arthur van de Vega. Passes it up to Willems. Van de Vega finds that little spot and then floats it into space, but it's too far for Willems. There seems to be a pick called on the field, but I would argue it didn't affect that turnover. That was just a throwing error.
Curious to see if the Gentle receiver will say he slowed up because he heard the call.
Yeah, Arthur said they
It did look like it was a bit far.
Somebody else would have
you
been
can say
open.
that every time.
I have to say I'm surprised so far with the sloppiness I'm seeing out of Bad Skid. Typically, what you see is them wearing you down with really clean offense. Clinical, systematic, especially in this no-win situation that we're in.
But again, it doesn't seem that they've loaded the O-line. They traditionally do that, and now they're kind of mixing their lines up a bit. It's a bit of a different game management than I'm used to seeing out of Bad Skid as well.
Yeah, it's interesting what you do when you have, say, limited resources. If Nico's out, who fills in? What does that do to your various lines? Let's definitely keep an eye on if they switch it up at all this game.
So the disc does go back to Gentle in the end. Cotton gets up line, but is looked off. Zwartz now in the middle of the field. Zwartz passing it up to Cotton. Cotton and Zwartz working together. Now in the trusty hands of Arthur van de Vega, who actually threw it away but was saved by the pick call. And that one's going to be another turnover as Sverre van Bogaerts cannot hold on to it. Marvin Waldvogel now. Just shoots it deep. I think that's pitch in the end zone. A lot of pressure underneath him, sandwiched by two players, and I'm curious who's going to call a foul on that one. He's definitely thinking about it.
Ravi, it's easy to confuse your big boys, but that's actually Jonathan Schall.
True.
Brother of the legendary Charlotte Schall of the Schall dynasty.
What a dynasty it is.
Mm-hmm.
What did you see on that play?
I thought it was a great shot. He had a lot of steps. It was a little bit of a shame that Waldvogel didn't see him on the pass before. I think he's one of their strongest huckers, especially with Nico absent. And he could have maybe put a little more zing on it so that it wasn't a sky ball, but rather a run-on. I think it was the right decision to shoot it, but he let it hang a little too much.
And did you happen to see anything on this foul to see if what you believe in? Here we're going to see a replay. Let's take a look. So he goes up. There is some contact coming through there.
One thing I know about Yoni Schall is that he's a sort of football player in spirit. He doesn't make calls lightly. He plays through a lot of contact. So he has a reputation that I would sort of believe in.
And it looks like the call is accepted here. So Schall now with it. Gets it back to Doscher. Doscher looking for options, finds Waldvogel on the sideline. Waldvogel to Doscher, and they just do the little 1-2, and the two World Game stars connect for Bad Skid's first goal of the game. 2-1, Gentle still up.
And that's a big relief for Bad Skid. They were at risk of going down 3-0. Gentle was a mere 7 or 8 meters out. Really big for them that they got that drop and were able to convert it.
Yeah, a couple slight errors there from Arthur van de Vega on the Gentle side. They're playing on the D-line. One throw that went away came back on the pick call, and the other throw, that one should have been caught really by Fedde van Bogaerts, but typically a trusty, very powerful handler.
It should be said that Bad Skid is not the only team that's missing some of their top-end talent. We see Leander de Krana on the line, or talking to the line right now, but Toby de Krana is not here. He's one of the best, if not the best, deep threats in Europe. Somebody you always have to look out for. Somebody who really stretches the field on offense. So both teams, without Bad Skid without their main hooker, Gentle without their main receiver, it's interesting to see how their offenses might shrink and how that makes things easier for the defenses to shut things down.
Yeah, and Gentle will be missing another handler, Aaron van der Vega, Arthur's brother, who is another key handler for them, tore his, I believe, his ACL at Windmill, and will not be here either. So both teams having to adapt a bit. Dave Novak, the Czech man, gets to Bouchon. Bouchon launches it for Novak. Beautifully weighted. Can Novak just eat that one in? He can. That's a score for the Czech boy. 3-1.
Was that a France to Czech connection, Ravi?
That was a France to Czech connection, exactly.
Can you tell me a little about these two non-Belgian players and how they ended up here?
Yeah, so, well, Lucas Bouchon actually has been playing for Is No Good traditionally. He's from the Noisy-le-Sec area. And he was on Is No Good earlier in the season, made at the transfer, but here we're going to see a replay of that connection. And then Dave Novak, along with Joachim Hrusak, are two players in the Czech Republic, traditionally playing for FUI or 3SB or those types of teams. And I know for various reasons they've moved out and have joined this Gentle squad. So I know for Lucas Bouchon, he was on Is No Good, transferred over. I think Is No Good is really on the bubble. They were 17th place going into this weekend, but I think he was a bit more maybe assured of Gentle's level, that he wanted to play EUCF and said, okay, well, I'm not allowed to transfer late. I want to transfer on time. He played with them at the postseason last year as well, so he has a bit of a connection there.
Good.
Yeah. But from what I understand, not practicing, just showing up for the tournaments, still living in Paris, so not coming over to Kent. But a very powerful athlete, so they're happy to take him. And there's Pritch and Waldvogel starting things off for Bad Skid. Changing the zone a little bit are Gentle this time. And they've already melted into match defense. Schenk over to Beutenmüller. Doscher now with it. Great inside shot to Schenk. He's so dangerous with those all the time. Now Marvin Waldvogel back to Doscher. Now over to Beutenmüller. Finds Doscher on the up line. Looks a little clustered for a while, but eventually Bad Skid find the goal, and that's much better from the Bad Skid offense.
It's a score from Jona Biegelbach, if I try my German pronunciation. He was a Wall City boy back in the day, but he moved down south, and now he's playing with Bad Skid. He's a good pickup for them. He's an athlete. He's looking to cut, looking to score, and we saw that there. One thing I noticed so far is that Steph Doscher is very involved in the offense, and he's almost playing a handler role. It seems like positions be damned. We just need our top talent around the disc, almost playing a little dominator. Not giving them the space, but just incidentally playing from the front of the stack, really quick give and go, keeping it in the hands of their top players, seeing if they can sort of shrink the roster a little bit so it's more of a 3-on-3 game instead of 7-on-7, with Gentle having a little bit more depth.
So you're a player that's played for Wall City for years and played with the German national team last year. What was it like for you actually getting to play with some of these bad skid guys after them being your opponents for so many years. What did you learn about some of these players?
Playing with them was incredible. Nico Müller is a true Wunderkind. I've always known he's one of the best players in Germany, but he really is at the top of Europe and really at the top of the world, which you saw in the World Games. But more than that, it was really amazing to make friends with these guys. We've been rivals for literally a decade now. It's so long I've been in Germany. And I didn't know them. I just knew them as, the guy who goes deep, the main player, the main thrower. I knew their names.
Puck goes up for Gentle as they look to combat this pressure from Bad Skid. What a beautiful throw. Wide open there, the shot to Perion de Force.
Gorgeous throw, and you can see the excitement. They are really playing hard for this game. They want every point, not taking anything for granted. But no, just to finish my point, I would just say these Bad Skid guys are really nice guys. We had a great social connection off the field as well. And now when we see them, it's just great friendship between the two teams, which is really nice. Incidentally, it was also really good for my German to have to speak, be forced to speak a little more, which isn't always the case in Berlin.
German national team a little more German than Wall City as a team?
Definitely. Berlin, very international. But we leaned into it. We really wanted that practice, and it was nice to have that connection. You can't really get away with it when you're on the national team of the country.
That's that point.
Yeah. Either fake it till you make it, or just make it.
So nice there. I thought Bad Skid actually had a lot of pressure, that pull on the last point, keeping them in their end zone for a while, but then once they kind of break through, they had that perfect deep shot. Looked like it might have faded out of the sideline from our perception, but it turned out to be perfectly weighted and no defender anywhere close. They just gave up on that one.
It's going to be hard for Bad Skid to guard all of the tall, strong, gentle cutters in the deep space, so they're really trying to clog the lanes. But if it gets past those lane cloggers, there's going to be a lot of open space in the backfield, I think, or downfield rather.
So we'll see here, the last Bad Skid O point went pretty well for them, with, as you said, Doscher basically playing a dominator role. Start out in a host stack. Waldvogel has it now. Jonathan Schall coming back. Waldvogel looking them all off. Eventually finds Leonard Volmer, who's actually hosting me at this tournament, with the disc. Gets it to Steph Doscher. Miegelbock on the sideline into Volmer. That's good. Really working patiently, one cut at a time, giving each cutter quite a lot of time to get free and then clear out if they need to. Seems to be working out for them so far. Doscher now on the sideline. Eventually finds that nice pop-up to Schall. Nice dump swing from Doscher. It's outside the reach of the gentle defender, and Pritch gets the score. Bad Skid staying in this one.
And maybe Stefan Doscher is trying to combat his reputation as a guy who only throws backhands. There's a nice soft lefty flick out to space, curling around the reaching defender. Maybe telling Ravi, hey, I have it like that.
It's good, when you finally get to his level to finally learn how to throw a flick. I think it's about the right time.
Yeah, he's really taking over for his line right now on offense. He's the engine of his line. He's got amazing footwork in the small space. He's impossible to shut down in little areas. I don't know if people know, but he was a pretty high-level soccer player, actually. He's a really great player. I don't know which league, but certainly playing that sport, it explains his quickness, his speed, his agility. He's a real top athlete.
Yeah, I noticed him. I mean, he used to play for Hashtag Erdferkel and was on that team for a while before he transferred over to Bad Skid. And I remember the first time he played, I noticed him playing high-level open was in the 2019 EUC road where he joined the German Open team. And there, everyone's like, okay, this guy was good at mixed. And it turns out, no, he was actually one of the best open players in Europe as well. Proving everybody that maybe there are some decent players that play mixed. Humalal. So Bad Skid looking to play a little bit of zone, slow this gentle team down. Forcing a lot of passes out of this gentle side. Hrushak now has it. And that's going to be Bad Skid's first opportunity, but Lander de Kraan, I think he went for the injury call there. Oh, sorry. It's Perion de Force that cut the injury. Lander de Kraan might be coming in for him.
And I believe that D was by Tobias Herta. Small in stature, big in heart. He's one of the heart and souls of the D-line typically. He punches much above his weight. He's earned a couple nicknames. Some people call him Harry Potter, some people call him Millhouse. He takes it all in stride, and he shows on the field that he's a force to be reckoned with.
So though the injury happened, and that's unfortunate, it seems like it was a clean defensive play, and Jörg Reinhardt will get things going. Gets it over to Beutmüller. A little bit of a high disc there, lots of bodies in the area, and that one's going to go back to Gentle's hands. Luca Bouchon there breaking it up as he rushes to go pick it up. Hrušák. Bouchon and Hrušák working together. Inside out, backhand into space. Holger Beutmüller's in the area and he just knocks it away, showing that he's still got it.
Some of these young Gentle players must not know who they're playing against, because a man of my age doesn't throw a sky ball near Holger Beutmüller like that. That's asking for trouble.
He's anywhere on the field. No. Can Bad Skids? This line has had trouble on offense so far. There's the nice shot from Jörg over to Holger. Opens the field completely. Doscher was free deep, but they decide to go to Herta. Herta and Holger working the 1-2. Hartmann now. Hartmann working with Sam Beutmüller, gets it to his brother Holger. Holger gets to Hartmann, and Holger's wide open on the give-go. A little bit of a blown switch there, as both players centered on Hartmann. Up the field to Doscher. Doscher goes to the blade over the top, and that one's going to work. And Bad Skid get a break. It's 4-4. We're back to an even game here, Christian.
We're back, baby. What I love about that point, Holger Beutmüller obviously showing his star power, but we also saw who's going to step up. Jörg Reinhardt with the big throw, big huck to Holger right after the turn. And that's huge because we need to know who's going to take those hucks from Nico as he is dancing at the wedding as we speak.
Yeah, Jörg, a long-time great player for Bad Skid. Really, really powerful athlete. Sometimes not talked about as much as the Beutmüllers and the Nico Müllers on this team, but been a driving force for Bad Skid's success over the past decade, in my opinion.
Don't tell him, but he was a personal nemesis of mine. I saw me and him as being in a battle for sort of safest handler in Germany. But he's out here throwing bombs, and I'm up here in the booth talking. So
he won the long game.
I think we know who got the better of that one.
He won the long game.
Yeah.
So Bad Skid getting that break back. Looked to struggle a bit at the beginning of this game, but really back in it now. That zone working out for them in the last point.
Bad Skid wearing their jailhouse uniform, seeing if they can lock down the Gentle offense.
Big pull there from Shaw as Gentle look to start things off here. Boomalal gets to Arthur van de Vega, who had taken the last point off, I believe. Bad Skid again coming into a bit of a junky look. Really sagging off the handlers, trying to make trouble for all the downfield options, and so far Gentle have only been able to play through their handler set. But Gentle happy to take these easy passes. Van de Vega and Boomalal just taking whatever's open. Vreken goes over to Boomalal. Lander de Kraan is open deep, but Boomalal holsters it. Bouchon. Nice inside shot to Lander de Kraan. Bouchon's now got it. They're trying to give go, but Lander stops. There, he's got it. Nice around shot, and that's going to be easy money as Gentle eventually punch it in. And they're up 5-4.
Ravi, we watched this first Gentle game when they played against Sieben Schwaben, and there they played a lot of junky looks, against a lot of junky looks, and against a lot of zone. So I think they're really prepared for that look. They struggled a bit in that first game, but the addition of Lande de Krana really helped there. He was taking up a lot of space in the middle, keeping passes continuing from there, and he's obviously a great player, and so that opens up a lot of things for them. And that's just a really nice soft backhand, cheeky how open he is with the little pancake flip behind him.
Showing why they take an international player like Lucas Bachon on the team. Definitely making a lot of contributions here in this game so far.
For sure, Ravi. I haven't prepped you for this question, and it's a spicy one.
You so put me on the spot.
Feel free to defer, but you know, I'll avoid the term picking up. Playing with players from other countries has become much more of the norm in European Ultimate. How do you see it? You know, what's the line between pickup and teammate? And do you think it's a trend that's gonna escalate?
I think when you talk about, there's obviously two minds about this. If you talk about clubs of Ultimate, is it good to kind of collect lots of talent, maybe players that are in places that don't have it that much, and that just raises the level of Ultimate? As a spectator, I like it. I like seeing better Ultimate being played in front of my eyes. And it's just a question of what you're trying to do as a club. Are you trying to think of the long game? Are you trying to develop yourselves? Or are you just trying to be like, oh, we have this golden generation right now, let's do as much as we can with it? I think I don't have a really like moral thought about it. I think it just depends. I hope teams are clear about what they're trying to do with it. That's what I think. But especially in the women's division, at the top of the women's division, things have gotten a little, some would say, out of hand.
There's an arms race.
Bad skid now marching up the field against his zone, puts up in the end zone. There's going to be a battle for it. Who's going to get him down with it? There it is. As Arthur Fuse gets the D and breaks up the play. Really nice smooth movement from Bad Skid there, up until it wasn't.
Another aggressive shot from Jurg. I like the aggression. He put a little bit too much float on that one. He probably wishes he could take it back.
That seems to be the common problem I've noticed so far in the games we've watched, is teams putting too much float on their away shots. That's where teams are failing a lot more. We're not seeing a lot of people overshoot or something like that. It's these things that are letting defenders come in and break things up, and at this level, there are good defenders on every team that will do it.
For sure.
Cotton now. Great pressure as that's a stall 9 bailout throw. And Holger, of course, who else is going to break that one up? You throw a sky ball out of hope and desperation, and Holger's on the field, it's not going to work out. Great handler defense there from Bad Skid to force that throw. That was not just Holger's D. Reinhardt now. Back to Boyton. Reinhardt again to Hartman. It's looking a bit better from Bad Skid. Sam Boyton-Miller now getting involved. Vollmer. Reinhardt floats it out to Sam Boyton-Miller, and there, Bad Skid, hold on. They did turn it over, but they got it back, and we're even at 5s.
Sammy Boyton-Muller is one of these players where, if you know, you know. There's 3 Boyton-Mullers, all brothers, all here. They are an Ultimate Dynasty of their own. Holger has traditionally been the sort of alpha dog, but Sammy is a truly amazing player. A little bit more in the middle of the field, a connector. Not as many crazy highlights, but he's an amazing all-around player. Defense, throws, small spaces, big spaces. He's someone who playing together last year on the national team, I gained a much bigger respect for him as a player. I think
sort of player's player.
A player's player. Not that anyone asked, but I would say he's at the top of the Boyton-Muller pyramid these days.
Okay, yeah.
Holger's having an amazing impact this game. He's putting on a show. But he'd be the first to say that he's a little past his prime.
Oh yeah, he's retired from the national team program. He's not playing with them this year. And yeah, he's a bit more focused on his family. Happens to everybody. Time gets us all.
But when the disc is above him, he's getting it.
He's still going to go get it. All right, let's see how Gentle respond here. 1 break apiece between these two teams. Boomalal now. Over to Artur. Bad skid zone again, forcing a lot of swing passes, a lot of lateral movement. Gentle happy with it so far, though. Lander to Bouchon. Lander boosts it to Arthur van de Vega, and this shows how dangerous of a player that man is. You think he's just a pure handler, but he will torch you off deep if you just try to force him that way. And he's got players like Lander to do it. Great response from Gentle there. They're up 6-5.
That was a gorgeous throw. It's very difficult to make a hard charging undercut, turn and fire and keep your balance, and that was executed to perfection. Really deep and still manages to get it in front of him. Couldn't ask for a better throw.
And like I said, that's again, typically a connection you would expect to go the other way. Usually you'd think Arthur throwing it to Lander would be how it goes, but just shows you the depth of talent and the dynamicness of their talent pool, that if teams force them into their what is not their traditional comfort zone, they still have it. Gentle's a team that builds their players from the youth, huge youth program, so all these players, even their big athletes, have been throwing from a young age to show that, yeah, they're not just big athletes. They can do it the other way too.
I think Ultimate is trending towards getting a lot more positionless. Spread offense is becoming more common, and everybody needs to be able to throw and catch. Everyone needs to be able to handle and cut. And if you have a handler who can take off from the handler space and go all the way to the end zone, that's a scary thing for a defense.
So Gentle coming with a bit of energy here on this defensive point from the sideline. You hear some of the screams coming out, that Belgian fire. So far, Bad Skid responding pretty well. Jörg Reinhardt with the disc. It's a tough thing with these junky zone looks in such still conditions is that, yes, you're forcing a lot of passes, but you're kind of forcing easy ones. And then eventually when something opens up like this, you can be on your back foot. Volk now. Hartman. Nice round pass there. That's Kranz. Jörg and Marcel playing together. Lady pass over to Holger Beutenmüller, and that one's probably going to come back on a foul. See the Gentle player not happy with the call. I think there was a little bit of clattering of bodies there, and Holger, we know he can get up, so that contact probably affected his ability to make a play on that one.
And to be honest, that's a D he should probably be able to get. It's a skill to be able to get the D that's yours without making contact.
I do think he tangled up with Holger's legs
in real
there.
time,
Yeah.
I saw a little bit of contact. Let's see how the replay goes.
That one was hard to see from this angle. It's an accepted foul. Will go back in the hands of Holger Beutenmüller. Holger gets it to his brother Sammy. Sammy and Holger playing a little Beutenmüller give go, eventually find Volk for the goal. And we're tied at 6s. I'm curious, Christian, if one team you think is going to break out of it. They're both seeming to play this sort of junky zone set, stop the pull play, rather than come down full fire, person lockdown. Do you think one of these teams will maybe shift that strategy a bit?
You know, I don't think so. It's been working for both of them. Where they've gotten in trouble is when the hucks come off a little bit. And so what I've seen a lot of specifically is not only are they junking up the lanes, but they're really content to let the dumps catch it backwards. So they really want them to throw a lot of passes. We're not saying we're going to challenge every dump. We're saying actually you can have it, but you're going to go the wrong direction, which I think is becoming a lot more common. As people have been getting much more competent with their lefties, that floaty out to space upfield throw is more dangerous. And so dump defenders are saying, I don't want that. I don't want you to have it in power position behind me. Just keep going backwards. And that's what I saw on that point.
So you think that the teams will keep doing this this style rather than maybe play a bit more aggressively?
I do. I mean, Bad Skid is an older team. They had their heyday 4, 5, 6 years ago. That's when they were sort of in the finals of every European championship, or a lot of them. But these days they're, to be honest, there's a lot of people hovering around 30, and they're not a tremendously big roster. And so they need to junk up the space. They don't want to compete on a 1v1 athleticism standpoint. They want to play smarter than you. They want to take away open lanes. It's a battle of attrition.
Yeah, that's why my thought was maybe that Gentle would switch it up and play a bit more aggressive, because I do think they have the number advantage. They have maybe some more athletic matchup advantage. Of course, against Holger, you don't really have much of an advantage anyway, but you put Lander on Holger and then put the rest of your team on lockdown. We'll see if that can muck things up, because right now both teams sitting on 1 break each. Both O-lines forcing to throw a lot of passes to start, but then eventually seem to break through and are scoring relatively easily in terms of what passes they have to make. There's always some open options everywhere, but we'll see. Hrušák now. As Lander de Krana gets it over the side to Pierre-Jan de Force. Force finds Hrušák on the sideline in a little space. Goes across to Lander. Nice shot to Pierre-Jan de Force. What a grab by de Force. Inside shot to Bouchon. He sees Novak deep. Oh, I'm very surprised he didn't shoot that. He typically loves that type of shot. Novak now gets the under instead. Novak and Bouchon working really well together, the two international imports, throughout this whole game. Then Hrušák, another one, getting in the mix. De Force now.
Hey, let him look. Hey, look out, shortcut, it's good, it's good.
Arthur van de Wegen now with it. Fakes the scooper over the top. I like this Sam Boynton-Miller versus Arthur van de Wegen matchup. A nice dad backhand give-go move, but it doesn't work out for him. Hammer over the top to no one, and that's another catch for Pierre-Jan de Force, who was all over that point, scoring it for Gentle 7-6.
Very nice score, putting the pressure on. They've got a chance to break for half here, so the pressure's on Bad Skid to get this next hold. Ravi, going back to this topic of international players, nobody knows more about sort of the EUF rules than you. Can you tell us what's different this year about when you have to be on which roster, by when, and if that encourages people to join sort of other teams sooner?
Yeah, it looks like we have a timeout here, so it's a good chance to talk about that stuff. Yeah, so I think previously, I'm trying to remember the exact rules as they were before, but you had a limit to how many players you could add to a roster, I think, after EUCR or something like that. So it was much later that the transfers were allowed to be made. This year, the change was made that player transfers, so going from one team to another, could only happen up to July 15th. So you had to decide well before the summer tour. This weekend is the final weekend of the season. Well before that, if you're going to make a change, and then you can't basically qualify with, or like have your team fail to qualify and then jump ship. You'd have to do it earlier. So that was a move we made because we want the teams at EUCF to be representative of those teams that actually qualified to make them. Some teams, like last year Jet Set, for example, had a very different team that qualified, as Don Desmarais was playing on their team, won a wild card with them, and then later on in the tournament picked up players like Stephen Chang and Alexander Spalholz, who didn't have anything to do with their qualification, and so it was like two different teams that was the one qualifying and the one going to ECF. We're trying to break that up a little bit with the new rules.
I can tell you anecdotally that it was frustrating back in the day. I believe we knocked out some star players in Germany.
Yeah.
And then you see them across the line from you at EUCF, and you go, this guy again, I don't want to deal with that.
I already took care of that.
Yeah, exactly.
What is your feeling as, well, you were playing some of the season, now injured and out. How are you feeling about this new system of qualification and season for the European Club Ultimate?
I think it's an amazing system, and I'm a big fan of it. I think at the end of the day, it redounds to the best 16 teams making it. So previously, it was sort of, it could be the flip of a coin if you have 6 great teams in one region and only 5 spots. And now, if those 6 teams are truly all top 10, nobody's going to get the bad luck of being the last of that group. So I'm a big fan of it. You know, it's 2024. I trust the algorithms. They've gotten pretty good these days. And
They're taking over whether you trust them or not, so you might as well.
you know, if it tells me I'm 17th, I can't complain. You know, that's life.
Oh, I certainly think people can complain. I certainly think they will
They can,
complain.
they can, and they will, and it's their right. It's their right. They should. And we're open to all the feedback, aren't we?
Of course, I definitely am. All right, so we're going to see the line come out here. I was curious if they're going to Gentle would cross over some players. As you said, they have the chance here to break for half, and I think they probably have another timeout in them that if that didn't work out, they could throw it out. But I see basically a standard Gentle D line coming out. Wondering if Bad Skid loaded things up. We see Waldvogel coming and crossing over, as well as York. Yeah, this is more the traditional Bad Skid loaded up O-line that I'm used to. So I think they realized the moment this offensive point's super important, and let's maybe load up this point and the next one to get ourselves a chance at winning this half. Waldvogel now has it. Gets it to Volk.
Mathieu. Komm.
Volk now has it. Gentle again with this junkie zone look, trying to slow things down. Marcel Hartmann on the side of the field gets it to Jörg Reinhardt. Nice pass up the field. I think that's Michael Beutenmüller, the third Beutenmüller. Haven't said his name too much this game, but there are three of them.
And while we have this little pause in play, let's give a shout out to the Beutenmüllers at home. The whole clan.
Maybe they're all here on the sidelines.
It's possible.
This is their home
It's their
tournament.
backyard.
Jörg Reinhardt with it. Gets it up to Sammy Beutenmüller. Nice inside shot to his brother Holger. Holger and Sammy. Just a string of Beutenmüller passes so far. Now Waldvogel finally breaks up the Beutenmüller connection. Nice layout bid, but Holger finds his brother Michael, and that was just Beutenmüller's all over the place as Bad Skid take us to Galaxy Point.
Family has a lot to be proud of that point. Holger making the nice catch under pressure, delicately jumping over his defender on the ground and flipping it into the end zone. Great body control, great swagger. Love to see that. And that leaves us at 7-7. This is the point for half. Who started on offense, Ravi?
Gentle started on offense, so this would be an on-serve point. And I'm curious if Bad Skid's going to load things up a little bit. It looks like not too much. I would have expected them to throw a few of those players that were on that last point again for one more, but it looks like they're trusting the depth, playing the longer game, not taking the 7-7 point as seriously as some teams tend to do.
It's interesting that Bad Skid has sort of two routes to EUCF this year. One is to sort of keep playing really close games against good opponents and hanging on to their ranking. They're 14th right now. That's dicey. I wouldn't want to be in that position because you're on the bubble and it can go either way.
And things can change outside of you. Who knows what's going on in all the other tournaments?
Not everything is in your
out
control.
of your control.
It's true. But if you win this tournament, you get a direct wildcard bid no matter where you finish. And I think that's what they're gunning for. With Nico back tomorrow, I'm sorry to keep mentioning his name. There's plenty of other players who are very good.
He is a previous European Player of the Year, so it makes sense to mention his name a bit.
But Bad Skid can win this tournament. They beat Wall City at the last tournament we played against them, so they have the firepower to win this tournament. And I think that's what they're after.
So here, Gentle trying to answer the call and take half. Samir Boumalal now. Oh, inside pass almost taken away by Bad Skid, but Lander kind of holds on. Gets it to Van de Vega. Van de Vega faking all kinds of hammers, but eventually with the easy swing pass back to Lander de Krana. There's the hammer over the top to Mons. Mons finds Boumalal up the line. He goes to the hammer, and that's going to be just too far, and they give Bad Skid the chance. Samir Boumalal, known to be a little trigger happy, and they're just taking a little bit more of a shot than he needed to. Arthur Van de Vega, very frustrated, captain of this team, walking away from the back of that end zone line.
Belgium is a country that plays loose on offense. They like their overheads, they like their scoobers. That's part of the culture, is playing with a little bit of swagger and a little bit of flair. Didn't work out there. Their last point was a hammer. Let's see if they dial it back after that costly turnover.
We'll see if Bad Skid can do things. Again, like I said, not a super power line they have stacked here, but still some very good players. Of course, Johnny Shaw picking up that one. Looking for options. Eventually finds Schenk up the line. Nice play. Shaw taking over a bit here. Shaw boosts it to Doscher. It's Doscher versus Dekrana in the end zone. Who's going to come down with it? A little bit of Bosch, a little bit of Bosch. What a body out from Doscher as Bad Skid take half, 8-7. Great play.
That is a huge play by Doscher against the taller, arguably more athletic Dekrana, but he boxes out expertly, really giving Lander no chance at the play. That's a break to take half. Bad Skid will be very pleased with that as they come out on offense after the half.
That's a great half here, and we'll be back in a short break. Don't go anywhere. Bad Skid up 8-7 against Gentle.
Yes, he will. The lovely did.
We are back in action here as Bad Skid took that half 8-7. Gentle now responding on offense. And I was mistaken. I thought that Bad Skid was up a break in that, but apparently they are pulling to Gentle. High pass from Gentle there. Force comes down with it over Herrera. Nice pass to Luca Buchon as he boosts up the line. Finds Novak on the sideline. Novak looking for options, not really finding much. Eventually finds Hrushak. Seems when things get under pressure, he finds his countryman. Hrushak with the wide pass back to Novak as the Czech player is playing just between themselves for now. Eventually finds some French in Buchon. Buchon finds DeForce on the under. Buchon goes up the line. DeForce looks it off. Takes a safer option around to Arthur van de Vega. Van de Vega goes for the around pass to Novak. That one's going to work out. Novak back to Breken. Breken now. The dad backhand to space for Hrushak. Doesn't like the cut from Buchon. Goes across into the middle for Arthur van de Vega. Van de Vega with the scuba over the top, and there we go. Gentle back on the board. It's 8-8.
Bad Skid with a valiant effort, taking away all the options at the front of the end zone, which I think is a good strategy. But you get burned with the scoopers and the hammers sometimes when you do that.
So not much between these two teams here, Christian. What have you seen? What do you like for their chances with how they're working strategically, working game management-wise? How do you see this game progressing from here now that we're about at half?
Well, it's an interesting question because Bad Skid has a well-earned reputation for being sort of a second-half team that doesn't mess about when it really matters and everything's on the line. But I also think that maybe both of these teams have more to give than they will in this game. So at this tournament, everyone's going to make the quarters. Everything before that is just for seeding. Bad Skid know they're playing down, so they definitely want the win, but they're not going to sell out and give everything this game because there's so many more games this weekend. The roster's not massive, and it's very hot out here. So I'd expect them to sort of improve their offense, but not make any radical strategic or personnel shifts until the game gets closer to the end.
See how they answer as their O-line comes out for the first time this half. Schenk gets it. Great pull by Gentle. Now Valfogel has it, still in the defending end zone. Doesn't like the cut from Schall, waits for it a little bit. And Schall again, after a couple passes, still in the defending end zone. Doesn't like the dump cut from Valfogel, goes around to Schenk. Schenk passes around to Doscher, a little bit wayward there, but that works out. Doscher leads Schenk into space, and now they had power position. Couldn't do much with it. Doscher now with a little give-go. He's so dangerous with those. Footwork and quick movements. Steph Doscher's specialty. Schenk now. Gets it to Vollmer. Vollmer throws it around to Schall. Looks like there's going to be pressure, but Schall sticks to it under the line of the crown of pressure. Doscher now with it on the doorstep. Eventually finds Schall in the corner, and bad skid score to keep their lead 9-8.
Ravi, I swear that Steph Doscher thinks that stall is 3. Nobody told him it's 10 because he never holds that disc longer than a second. It's really incredible to watch, and I think players can learn a lot from watching him. As soon as you catch that disc, a lot of the defense is out of position, and he's just getting rid of it and sprinting after it. He really controlled that point. And it's interesting because they're actually starting in a spread offense, which a lot of teams do these days. They're clearing out one of the handlers. They have a big space in front of them to work with. But to me, it actually seems like what's working is sort of this squirrely play from the front of the stack, a little bit more of a small ball style. They transition to that naturally. I wonder if they'll ever start with that. But I think that's what's working for them on offense right now.
Yeah. That's often easier to get going once you have a couple passes in rather than start right from a dead disc. So maybe that's exactly what they're going for.
It's true.
But up 9-8 here. They were down earlier in this game, but doing quite well. Our bad skid. Really holding off this gentle side. Just looking elsewhere in Europe right now, I see Flying Angels Bern had an upset win, 15-13 over Jet Set. I think the Open Division, that's one of the most interesting results that might shake rankings up later on. We'll keep an eye on more of that later. Right now, Arthur van de Vega gets the Krushak on the sideline. Oosterlink and Krushak working down the sideline, eventually find Bouchon. Bouchon picking off all the options, gets it back to Artur. Oosterlink. Krushak. Krushak to Novak on the end zone line, and that's easy work. Again, Gentle themselves taking a page out of the Don't Hold It Until Stall 2 playbook.
That was a very beautiful textbook version of break side offense. As soon as you get the first one off, just keep flowing all the way up the left side of the field. That's a very easy score, very beautiful, very well executed. Here we see it again.
Yeah, both offenses executing quite well since halftime. I wonder if that's a function of them getting a bit more keyed in, or maybe the fatigue setting in on defense, or a little from A, a little from B.
To me, it felt like the offenses were a little bit unsettled at the beginning of the game. Maybe nerves, maybe just not having to feel out the other team. And yeah, they've both settled into this game. It's a classic right now. It's a classic ultimate game, low turnover. Who's going to break first? Who's going to make that clutch play that saves the game for their team? We got a good battle.
So we'd love to see here at the European Ultimate Federation Summer Tour, last weekend of the regular season.
Ravi, I see a countdown clock in the top right. What happens when it hits 0?
So hit 0 minutes, we will finish the point and add 1 to that highest score and play to that score. That was typically a game to 15, but of course if we reach the end of time before then, we got to keep the tournament moving.
The show must go on.
So very tight. We'll see which offense will crack, or if just going to be trading out holds the rest of this game. Schenk starting things off. Schall there with the Schall Fuse matchup. A nice big physical group of pretty big boys matched up against each other. Love to see it. Doscher now on the sideline. Immediately gets it back into Schall. Gentle looking to switch, but eventually leave Vollmer open. They don't like that. They go for the inside shot instead. Bad Skid working together on the give goes. Eventually finds Valfog on the side. There's a tip, but Valfog holds on to it. Schall now. Didn't like Doscher on the deep. Looking for something a bit easier. Trying to calm things down. Doscher now has it on the sideline. There's a stoppage of play. Looks like it's going to stay in Doscher's hands. Doscher finds Schall. It's gonna work out. Oh, I think he gets spooked a little bit by the defender there and didn't go full on for it, even though the defender wasn't really attacking it.
Looked like it was gettable, but he wasn't able to make the play.
So Gentle with an opportunity here to take the lead. A lot of players crossing over here. Lucas Bouchon, I think, for his first D point of the game. A lot of top players here on Gentle crossing over on this point. They've got Novak now. Novak gets to Vreken. Vreken to the Krana. Fuse now. Willems is streaking deep. Fuse is not going to shoot that one. Swings across to the Krana instead. Vreken with a big pass across to Novak. It's going to be over his head, and Bad Skid get it back.
Sometimes when you have the hops, you want to use the hops. And the right thing to do is to settle under the disc and let it come down.
That one's sailing over Novak and over Doscher. Valfogel will pick things back up again. Doscher with a move to get under. Valfogel doesn't like it. Schenk is also struggling to get free. Running out of options, and there's a hand block on that one, but Doscher still comes down with it. Got to hand it. Gentle's putting a lot of pressure on this line, but just not getting the disc. Schenk now wide open on the up line, and he jumps it in. Is that enough for the score? They're going to call him out. If we can get a replay on that one to see if he jumps it in. Oftentimes players catch before the jump. But I didn't quite see in real time what happened. Okay, we're going to see throw up the line. He was in the air when he caught it, but did he touch his foot on the line first or the one in the end zone? We're back in play. Doscher now. Doscher going around to Schenk. Vollmer now has it. Gentle still switching around like crazy on this defensive set, even right in the end zone. Very intelligent defense from the Kent boys. Schenk. Eventually, intelligent defense can sometimes have a soft spot in there. Bad Skid find it. They hold on to their lead 10-9, but under immense pressure from the Gentle defense.
I want to give a shout out there to Julius Schenk, who played really well that point. He's on a team of older veterans. He's only 20 years old. And he was the kind of player, not only a couple of years ago, you'd actually want the disc in his hands. He was a little bit unsafe, a little bit unused to the high-level play, but he was picking up the disc at that point. He was throwing the score. He's only 20. He's still growing. And I think a guy like that, surrounded by this much veteran talent, is going to learn and grow by leaps and bounds. So he's someone that's really someone to watch and someone that needs to carry this program if they're going to keep being good into the future.
Great stuff there from the youth.
And let's not have these player surveys be in vain. He's a student of electrical engineering, and we'd like to give a shout out to Oma Elsbeth at home. That's his grandmother. He's a sweet boy and a good player.
Gentle now here to respond. A lot of those players back out again that were out on that D point. They really stacked it to try and get that break. Didn't work out for them, and now they have to play an offensive one. Arthur Van de Vega looking for options. Eventually finds Bouchon on the sideline. Bouchon with the inside shot. And the disc goes into the hands of Bad Skid. Honestly, it flashed before my eyes. I didn't even really see what happened.
Nor did I, Ravi, unfortunately. Took a 2-second water break, and it was the exact wrong time.
But as is Holger with the disc, Bad Skid looking to take what I believe would be their first 2-point lead of the game, if they can manage it. Gets it over to Hedda. Finds Beutenmüller on the side. Beutenmüller looking for Holger, but cannot find him. Eventually finds Hartmann on the up line. Stamos has been really rising there. Very sloppy dump cut and reset movement here from Bad Skid. I don't like how they're just looping all the way into that space aside from trusting the rest of their team. Has worked out though. Hedda has it now. Hartmann. Hedda up the line. He gets it through the contact. As you said, small in stature but big in heart, and he's playing with it right here, and he pops the pass into the end zone, and that's a foul. Foul is going to be called. But that would have been Matthias Weberus with that score.
I believe it was away from the play. I'm not 100% sure.
Still a tremendous grab by Hedda there in the contact. You see there, Boumelol calls the pick very early. And it looks like Bouchon might have stopped playing because he heard it, so I think this is fairly going to go back into the hands of Hedda. So Bad Skid here on the doorstep of taking their first 2-point lead of the game. Hartmann. Hartmann looking to isolate Holger. Doesn't work out, but then there was something open for Hedda. Hedda really taking over this game, this point, and Holger Beutenmüller with the score. Bad Skid go up 10-8 here. Or, sorry, that is that 11-9? Up by 2. Whatever it is.
The score here says up 3, but I don't think that's correct.
It is 11-9.
Back to 11-9, that's what it should be. We all make mistakes. Sometimes it's throwing it to the Bad Skid defender. Sometimes it's hammering it at the back of the end zone. Sometimes it's who starts with the disc at half, or what the score is.
You're learning all about commentator errors here in your one of your first appearances on the booth.
It's my first time in the booth, and I'm learning a lot, Robbie. It's true.
Ja, Yannick, du musst mal ein bisschen näher ran, sonst kann ich nicht auf dich schneiden.
So first 2-point lead of the game for Bad Skid. Really shows that their game management paying off. There's only 4 minutes left on the clock, and they're right now in the driver's seat.
They are. A break here would maybe put the game potentially out of reach for Gentle, so they really need this hold.
And if I'm correct, Bad Skid is Gentle's favored to win this game by 2 to 3 points. So this would be a big swing in the rankings for Bad Skid. Huge result for them. Again, I know they're going for the wild card, but even if they don't get it, if they can get a win by a couple points on Gentle here, would really bolster them to maybe push them out of that bubble region in the ranking.
And conversely, if Gentle were to fall out of the top 8, that would be a big loss for them as well.
Yeah. So Vreken here. Start things off running to the brick mark. Bad Skid here again, happy to give up those dumps, trying to jam up the upfield options a bit more. There's the shot to Bouchon, he catches it low. He goes to the hammer over the top, and there's Arthur van de Vega on the receiving side, and Gentle bring it back to within 1, 11-10.
And that was a power O-line from Gentle, and it really looked like it. They crossed over Novak, Bouchon, and they had all their O-line stalwarts, and it really showed how easy they can push through the offense if they've got all their top O talent out there. I think it was a smart strategic choice, because if they didn't win that point, they would have been in serious trouble.
But as is, they are within 1 now. 2 minutes and a half left on the clock. Again, when we finish that clock, we will add 1 to the highest score after we finish the point. So looking like it's going to come down to the wire here. But Bad Skid with a little bit of a cushion. What might help Bad Skid in the situation is since they're not playing strict OD, they seem to be just doing one line versus the other. It doesn't, usually when you're up by a little bit of a cushion, that can sometimes put pressure on an O-line because you're like, oh, we really can't lose this for our team. Whereas now, since they're evening that out, maybe that's a little bit less mental strain on the teams playing on offense here.
I believe it.
Great pull goes up from Gentle. York Reiner to pick up. Bad Skid starting in a horizontal formation. Eventually finds Hartman on the under. Hartman gets Holger. Holger and Sammy. Nice around pass to York. Good pressure from the Gentle D-line here. Again, crossing over players again. Arthur Van de Vega is playing, Lander de Kran is playing. They really want to win this game. They're probably going to keep their stars out a lot for the remainder as there's not too many minutes left. Only less than a minute left on the clock. Volk now with it on the sideline. This pressure is giving Bad Skid trouble, but eventually they find the open spot. Shot goes up to Michael Boytenmuller, and he's going to come down with it. Another point for Bad Skid, 12-10. They get it in a little bit before time runs out.
All the Boytenmullers getting involved there. That's a really great grab from Mishi under pressure. I wonder if there was even a little bit of a piece on that disc before he caught it.
So here we're going to see the replay of that pass. And we weren't able to quite see if there was any touch on it there, but...
Running so fast, they outran the camera.
So 12-10 the score here now. Bad Skid up on Gentle. As time is winding down, I believe this will confirm for you back home, but I think this should be our last point, and we'll probably add one to the score now after this point is scored. So if Gentle scored, it'll be a game to 13. If Bad Skid score it, it'll be a game to 14.
Great concentration as he reels that catch in. And the Usain Bolt arm spread, I'm so high I could fly celebration, well deserved.
Is it really Usain Bolt if you do it after the catch? I feel like Usain does it in the middle of the sprints. It's a little...
Let's say it's Bolt-esque. Let's be charitable today.
Arthur Van de Vega, he's been out, I think, 4 points in a row at this point. He's probably not coming off the field the rest of this game. Bruchak finds Bouchon in the middle. You see Arthur streaking off deep. Lander de Kran is there. Oh, he gets hand blocked, and that's going right back into Bad Skid's hands. Schall now with it. And Bad Skid just playing better this game. Some work there with Schöffler. Doscher. Doesn't like Schall up line, but does like the inside shot to Schall. Great movement here. As Bibelbach moves around with Schall. Bibelbach around to Doscher. That's good. Looking comfortable, has to be said. I think these players on Gentle have been out here for a long time, so it's going to be hard for them to clamp down and play intense person defense. So though Bad Skid hasn't really moved forward, they don't look like they're under a lot of pressure. But that pass, oh, Schall gets it under pressure from Lander de Kran, and Lander's going to call a foul on Johnny Schall there. We're going to have to take a look at that replay because that's an interesting chat.
It's rare that you see the defender calling a foul on the offense on a play like that.
I think Lander's arguing that he had his arm in space and then it was blocked out of the way. We'll see here. There's the pass going up. I didn't see much there, but we were kind of blocked by some other players in the way right when the contact might have happened.
So hard to tell with a bang-bang play like that. It's going to be hard to talk someone out of possession on a game this close.
Yeah. An accepted foul here would be a turnover. And on a play like that, Yeah, I strongly doubt this is going to be accepted.
An incredible bid, though, for that defense. He heard you talking about the no pressure, and he took that personally.
This is Schäufele with the disc. Doscher's off to the races. Schäufele finds him up the line. Great movement there by Schall, and he just took over that point. As Bad Skid get another one on the board. They're up 13-10 here, and what I believe is a game to 14.
And there we saw the same cut from Schall, getting the little dishy from Doscher. Before, it didn't work out with a little pressure. This time it does. He manages to sneak it in on the crowded side of the field for the point.
And if I think our clock might have been a little off because it looks like players are lining up. It seems the cap had gone off before that point, and that will be the final score, 13-10. Bad Skid take it over Gentle.
I think it's safe to say that that's an upset. Really great game from Bad Skid. We might see these teams match up again tomorrow, but that was some high-level ultimate, grinding it out. Bad Skid proving that reputation of being a second-half team who doesn't mess around when it really matters. I'm impressed.
I will surely shake things up in the rankings. All right, we're going to sign off for now. We'll be right back shortly with Heidi's against Wall City coming up soon. Don't go anywhere, and we'll see you soon.